Hi, my name is Lauren Morrison, and today's topic will be understanding the green card renewal process. The green card, also the proper name for the green card is the permanent resident card. And the card has an expiration date. If you are a conditional resident, which means that you received your green card before your second wedding anniversary, there's a different process that we'll talk about. But for everybody else that receives a 10-year green card, there is a process to renew that green card, and you should do so within 6 months of the expiration date. And it's advisable to do it as soon as you're eligible to do so, because the green card does take time to be produced. So there's two ways to do this. You can file a paper application, or it is now available to be completed online. This is the Form I-90, and the Form I-90 is what you need to fill out for every case other than a conditional resident case. In these cases, it's very basic information, but this is an opportunity for immigration to kind of review your file. And I always thought it to be kind of like renewing a driver's license, where they're not making you take the driver's test again. But yeah, in this case, it is different in that you are renewing an identification, but not only are you renewing the identification, you're also allowing USCIS to review your eligibility to continue to be a green card holder. So there's some red flags that come up, and certainly being arrested from the time that you received your initial green card or a different renewal, you have to appear for biometrics. And if fingerprints capture a criminal case, they're going to look into this to see if it is a case that will make you removable from the United States. And indeed, if it does, you will not be receiving I-90 approval in a new green card. We'll get a denial, and the denial will state the reason for the denial. And if it is a matter of a crime, especially involving moral turpitude, or any kind of violent crime or drug-related offenses, you will find yourself in removal proceedings to be removed from the United States. This is a huge problem when you do know that you have a situation that will jeopardize your ability to continue living in the United States permanently. Also, this gives USCIS another opportunity to look at your case to see if there was any fraud or misrepresentation that occurred in your initial application when your green card was first approved. And certainly that's another case in which you will get a denial on that I-90, and you will also find yourself in removal proceedings. While I don't see this happening very often, there is also a concern that if, as a green card holder, you have spent more time outside of the United States than allowed, which is, as a green card holder, just having your green card itself allows you to be out of the United States for a period up to 1 year. So if you leave the United States for over 1 year and then you come back and renew a green card, you've abandoned your residency here. So 1 year without being in the United States and not filling out a reentry permit, which allows you to come back and reclaim your position as a permanent resident here. But other than that, this is something where you have abandoned your residency, and if they catch it, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but it's really an issue where they could say that you have abandoned your residency here. An immigration judge is the only person that has the ability to remove the green card status from a person. So USCIS may deny an underlying application, but it's ultimately a U.S. immigration judge that is going to be the person that is going to review this case. I mean, you'll have a hearing and only has the authority to go ahead and remove your permanent residency and file a removal order. So past immigration evaluations, unpaid taxes, or failure to register for the Selective Service if you're a male may also prompt further investigation by USCIS. So if you feel like you're at risk for any of these things, immediately seek the advice of a lawyer who specializes in immigration law. And it is very important to see somebody that specializes in immigration, because it is a niche practice where a general practitioner might miss key issues that may expose you to being removed from the United States. So file the I-90 only if you are confident that you should have no problems. It's absolutely easy to go ahead and go online and answer the questions and pay the fee and appear for the biometrics. And for most people, it is a very smooth situation where they go and they appear for the biometrics, and then either a short time later or a long time, they will receive a new green card in the mail. And the green card I-90 renewal application, the receipt from immigration says that it the receipt itself extends the permanent residency status of the individual while their I-90 is being adjudicated. So I've seen in practice that the I-90 that is filed online is adjudicated much quicker than the green card application that is filed through the paper filing and the regular mail service. So it is definitely advisable to go ahead and renew online, and certainly talk to an immigration attorney if there's any reservations whatsoever, even if you were arrested for an offense that you do not think would expose you to removal. It is always best to get this recommendation and the advice from a U.S. immigration attorney. And if you are placed in removal proceedings, you will receive what's known as a notice to appear. And that notice to appear starts the process of the removal proceedings, and DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, will issue this notice to appear to tell you why you are in removal proceedings. In this case, it is going to be that you committed a crime that makes you removable, that you committed fraud or misrepresentation in your green card application or a prior renewal. You have spent too much time abroad, and that turned into over a year or more, and that is considered to be an abandonment of your residency. You have had past immigration violations, or like I said, the unpaid taxes or failure to register. If you're a male during those years that you need to register for the selective service, these are situations that if they apply to you, that you should definitely see somebody, an immigration attorney, that will help you before you go ahead and file the application on your own and find out that you just gave yourself a one-way ticket to a removal proceedings. Because if there is anything going on in your file, there may be things that you can do to change that. So like I said, the 6 months prior is when you should be doing it. So when you look at your green card, there is an expiration date, and you just calculate 6 months, 180 days from that date. And that is the earliest that you can file for your new green card. And like I said, the process is relatively easy for a person that doesn't have any red flags. But those red flags that I did mention are things that you should realize may cause you problems in the renewal. And it is not just a simple replacement of an identification that has expired and you need to get a new one, like applying for a new driver's license. They are looking to make sure before they issue the new green card that you're still eligible to continue to be a permanent resident. So be sure to look at those issues that I just discussed. And if you do have any problems, please do see an immigration attorney before you go ahead and file that I-90. The other green card renewal that I mentioned at the beginning is for a conditional resident, and it's based on a marriage to a U.S. citizen. And because there is so much fraud in marriage cases, the Immigration Service has given these conditional residents for 2 years. And during that 2 years, they really want to see that you have remained with your spouse. There's this I-751 petition that is filed to remove those conditions. And if you're successful in removing those conditions, you will be issued a 10-year card. So your next card will be a 10-year green card. And if you file the I-751 after a divorce, the Immigration Service will really want to know why, how, and when the relationship deteriorated. And this is their way to weed out the cases that may have been fraudulent and got approved the first time around. And it allows them to really give a close look at the underlying case. So the more evidence that you save during those 2 years, the stronger your application will be. So I always tell people the date that they get their green card, congratulations. That's wonderful. Now, always keep it in the back of your head that 2 years from now, you're going to have to renew this green card. So when you keep gathering the evidence as you go, you don't have to scramble last minute when you're going to renew the card. In that case, you can apply 90 days in advance. It is not six months in advance. It is 90 days in advance of the expiration of a conditional residency and 6 months in advance of the I-90 expiration date. So either way, what's important is realizing that you are still eligible to maintain your status as a green card holder. And if everything's okay, you will get a green card. But if everything's not okay, you may be put into removal proceedings. So be cautious and always seek the advice of a professional if you're not sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.